Hey, it's Anna, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my Ramadan Readathon wrap-up. Started on the 17th of May and ended on the 15th of June. I'm filming it a tiny bit early because I'm going to be heading interstate to go to the doctor's appointment. So here it is. So the first book I read for Ramadan Readathon was The Jinn Falls in Love and Other Stories, edited by Mahvesh Murad and Jared Shroom. It's a short story anthology, and all the stories sort of revolve around jinn. I really enjoyed some of them, others I really hated, but overall it was a fantastic collection. So I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars because for the most part, yeah, it was fascinating and there were so many different sort of viewpoints and ways of thinking about the relationship between humans and jinn, and yeah, the settings were all over the world. Yeah, it was really wonderful, and at the moment I'm sort of into the whole idea of jinn and supernatural sort of beings, so yeah, I really enjoyed it. The next book I read was called Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed. It's YA contemporary. It's about a girl called Naila, who is a Pakistani American Muslim, and you know, her parents are quite progressive in that they've let her choose who her friends are, the female ones, and what she's going to study and what university or college she's going to go to, but they've always told her, we're going to choose your husband. And when they find out she has a boyfriend, they completely lose it and then decide to take her on a trip back to Pakistan to meet the family, reconnect with their heritage, all that sort of thing over the summer before she starts college. While they're over there, the plans change and they arrange marriage for her, and yeah, things sort of go downhill from there. So I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. It's very intense. I was expecting something a little lighter because it's YA, but this author pulls absolutely no punches at all. She's just like, bam, this is what forced marriage is like. She hasn't experienced it herself, but some of her friends have. So anyway, and it happens to girls all over the world. Sometimes it happens in country, like in America or in Australia. Sometimes the girls are taken to the parents' sort of home country, like Pakistan or whatever, and forced to marry there. So it is a big issue, and I think it is important that it's talked about and somebody is shedding light on it. So big thumbs up for it. Next up, I tried to read Yasmin's Story by Yasmin Abdel Markied. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a non-fiction memoir, and it's about an Australian Sudanese migrant Muslim woman who started a grassroots youth organisation here in Australia. She's also a boxer and a motorsport fanatic and works on an oil rig. So yeah, I thought she sounded pretty cool. I wanted to know more about her. The book itself was not bad. I DNF'd it at about halfway through because I got a little bit sick of every single thing that happened to her in her life being a life lesson. And I'm like, ugh. She's like, okay, this happened and I learned this from it, and it just felt kind of preachy, maybe. I just wasn't in the mood, and yeah, so I DNF'd it, so I gave it 0 stars. Sorry. And finally I finished off Ramadan Readathon with 2 5-star reads. Yes. The first was The City of Brass by S.A.Chakroborty. I always have a questioning face when I try to pronounce the name. I'm never sure. It's a YA historical fiction fantasy thing. I'm going to do a proper review of it, maybe in a video on its own, but I might just do like a books I've read recently video and do a couple, or a few at the same time. So that's up in the air. When I've done that, I'll put a card up here, but all there. Alright, so yeah, City of Brass. It's the first in a trilogy, and it's about a girl called Nari. I'm going to call her Nari. Nari, who has basically been working as a con woman on the streets of Cairo in the 19th century, late 19th century, and she doesn't believe in magic. And then during one of her cons, she summons a jinn warrior, and she finds out that she is not quite human. And she is taken to the city of the jinn, Diababad, and lots of stuff happens. Wow, Jesus. I really loved it. It was written really well. I like the characters. Nari is really complex. She has a good side to her, but she is at heart a con woman. You know, what can I get out of this interaction? You know, she's pretty smart and on her feet. And I like that the romance in it wasn't in your face. Like, it sort of gets mentioned, like, you know, it's sort of happening, but not. It's very hard to explain without giving spoilers. The other character, whose point of view it's written from, is called Ali, and he lives in the City of Brass, which is Diababad, and he's the son of the ruler, and he's also a really interesting sort of mix of good traits, not so good traits. You know, it's written so well, and underneath it all is sort of this brewing rebellion from the sort of half the half djinn, half human residents of the city. So you're sort of getting all of this happening at once, and yeah, it's fabulous. Just give it a go. Really, seriously, it's so good. There are a couple things I didn't like so much about it. The Jinn Warrior, he's just all over the place, honestly, and that was a bit frustrating, and like there are reasons for it, like mentally he's all over the place, and there are reasons for it, and that leads into the other thing I had some issues with, which was that some things weren't explained, like backstory and whatnot, very well as we went through the novel. Like, it took me pretty much almost up to the end to work out what the hell was going on with the different there are different tribes of Jinn, and I didn't understand that, and then within the tribes there are families. I was a bit confused, but at the same time I think that's sort of what the author intended, because they didn't want to reveal it too soon. But at the same time I spent a lot of the book going, I don't get what's happening here. That being said, they didn't really take away from my enjoyment of the novel as a whole, so I didn't really mark it down for that. And as for the Jinn Warrior character, there are inevitably going to be characters that you just don't get. Like, it's just going to happen. And I feel that even if there are characters you don't like or necessarily understand on an emotional level, if they're given a backstory, if they're made 3D and complex, then you can kind of go, okay, I understand cerebrally why they are this way, then I can cope with that. What I don't like is when characters behave erratically for no reason. So, yeah. I really recommend it. I've babbled on about it long enough, so I'm gonna continue. And so the final book I read during Ramadan Readathon was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. It's the first in a quartet, so 4 books. The third one is coming out tomorrow here in Australia. So An Ember in the Ashes is a YA fantasy dystopia romance thing, and it's so fantastic. So basically, with our 2 main characters are Leia and Elias. So Leia's brother gets arrested by the Marshals, who are part of the empire that has conquered her people, who are called the Scholars. So he gets arrested as like a traitor, so treason. And to get him back, she joins the Resistance, and she's sent to Blackcliff Academy, where they train the elite sort of soldiers of the Empire, and she has to spy on the very nasty Commandant. And yeah, wow. Anyway, Elias is a student at Blackcliff Academy. He is a marshal. He is first in his class. and he wants to run away. He wants to desert. He doesn't want to be a part of this. He doesn't agree with, you know, killing off scholars and causing havoc and, you know, oppressing people. He's a decent human being. So their destinies sort of intertwine with a little bit of help. And yeah, I can't even. So there's like you've got a rebellion brewing. The empire is sort of on the brink of sort of civil war, maybe, is maybe the best way you can put it. The emperor is on his last legs and he doesn't have an heir, and 4 students from Blackcliff have to go through trials to decide who will be the new emperor and who will be the second in command, who is basically the executioner. So Elias happens to be one of them. Maybe a bit of a spoiler, I might cut that bit out. But it's all happening, and there is, oh god, there's just so much happening, and it's fantastic. And the characters, again, like the previous book, The City of Brass, they're so complex. They have good points, they have bad points, they have flaws, and it's wonderful, and I love it. And I will be reading the second one in the next few days, and then the third one, and then I will bawl my eyes out because it's going to be like another year until the final one comes out. So there's part of me that's like, maybe I should just stop now and just start again once the final one comes out, but I don't think I can. So again, yeah, 5 stars for that one, and yeah, that was it. I was all enthusiastic, and then I'm like, and there's nothing else. So, yeah, that was my Ramadan Readathon wrap-up. If you liked the video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel. If you want notifications, click the little bell for future videos. And thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again. Bye.